All right. Hopefully I'm live. And hopefully I have sound. Yep, I got sound. All right, sweet. We're good to go. Welcome everyone to SEO this week, episode 175. Thank you all for joining me. Today we're going to go over some test results in regards to email and using emojis in your titles. Kind of relevant to SEO because people are using emojis in their titles for SEO too, right? Under the guise that you're increasing your click-through rate. Stand out more, you're going to get better click-throughs. Maybe that might not be the case, but we're going to look at some schema stuff, in particular FAQ schema, and how to generate more FAQs and how to generate schema. That's two posts we're going to look at. We're going to look at some performance stuff inside of Google Search Console and how you can leverage that tool a little bit better. The post I'm going to show you on that is a little bit interesting. It references a lot of a tool that apparently costs so much money that if you have to ask the price, you can't buy it because they gotta put you in a request for a demo kind of thing. But we'll check that out and then look at some other alternatives maybe that you can do, or just talk about some alternatives. I've shared plenty of Google Data Studio templates, etc. before, so maybe we'll just reference you to all those. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump over to the screen. Here's the post. Let's talk about some of the stories. So first one is how to identify questions and optimize your site for Q&A, FAQ, and more. I think this is really important, especially, Lily Ray has been talking about schema for quite some time. I talk about schema. I sell a course on schema and what ranks. And we look at different things that you can capture. In this case, the FAQ, Q&A, and how to kind of schema actually brings a lot of search results. Unfortunately, in many of those cases, though, if you're attacking those search results in those particular rich snippets, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get more traffic from them. I.e., if you answer the searcher's question, they're not going to leave your site and go to or they're not going to leave Google and go to your site. They're just going to, all right, thanks for answering my question. I appreciate it. I think that's why FAQ schema is kind of really popular, because you can put out mini lists in there. If you do the coding right, you can actually drop backlinks inside of the FAQ snippets that show up in your in the search results for your website, etc., to other pages, and kind of build out your silos that way if you wanted to. And there's a lot of different approaches to it, but the number one thing that a lot of us, including myself, run into is, what freaking questions do I use? Right? You can, obviously, if you've been in the business and your market for quite some time, you know what everyone's asking, you know what they're looking for. And in this case, or if you're approaching something new, you've never been in said market, then maybe you need to expand on that more. Like maybe you need to figure out or go into questions and figure stuff out. On my on-page course, I'm doing over the shoulder series for SIA, and I show how to use phrase to do that. And if you guys have taken advantage of the AppSumo deal, that was like a no-brainer. You can use phrase to get questions. That's not on this list, but here's some more. Here's Google Search Console. Obviously, you can go through there and see if you find people that are searching for questions that your site's showing up for. And there's some tools that kind of help you get around that and figure that out. People also ask, everyone's talking about. People also search for knowledge panel QAs, kind of go through and do that. Google Trends is a really good one. It is, in my opinion, it's under leveraged by SEOs, more so for market research than for keyword research. But You can, and then Brian Dean, he runs that other one. I forget the name of it right now, but it's another trends thing that you can go in there, and if you're not like stuck to a niche and you hop trends, you can actually do pretty decent with that. Uh, Google search operators will do, and it's really, you can do some of the question stuff and kind of figure that out. This one's is a good one. It works sometimes. Reddit is good. Quora, not so much, in my opinion, is just because the traffic's all from India. So your users, especially if you're, if you're a US user and a US business, then US people are going to have different questions than an Indian user who's being served by an Indian business, right? So Quora is a little bit scary in that regard, and the traffic really doesn't convert very well. So I don't know about Quora, but it's at least some good ideas. Keyword tool IO is all right. These ones are all right for finding questions. Answer the public is okay. Search metrics I've never tried, and stat I've never tried. Another one that's not on that list is SE Cockpit. I've kind of highlighted that before. Check out, I think it was last week or the week before, where I highlighted SE Cockpit. You can find some questions in there, but pretty much there's any and all keyword tools that really at the end of the day will pop some more questions for you. And then she goes over some tips to using some schema and some of the snippets that are available to you, and kind of how to get that going. One thing I like here is how she talked about going over adding questions and answers to your maps. I'm not too sure if that'll actually trigger your map in some of those questions, but at least it'll pop some of this information up. And maybe if you get some more common questions from your clients or from people who are calling you, like what is your price or something like that, answer that right off the bat, and then maybe increase the quality of the clicks that you're getting. So that's a suggestion. Which leads us over into the next story, is how to generate FAQs and schemas automatically with Python. If you followed me for any amount of time, you know I'm kind of a Python fanboy. I'm still learning it. That and Java. So when you get these kind of things and you get some built-in projects and stuff that do some cool stuff, if you are into coding, I go ahead and try it out. I mean, you're learning this stuff, or you know the code anyway, so why not apply it to some of the things? So you can go through here and kind of figure it out and play with it, and maybe even get some more stuff. If anything, you learn something and you get to spend a little time doing that. So that's kind of how I do it. One thing I like is how they can use Cloudflare, or how they're using Cloudflare workers and to launch the changes in your FAQ. You can do that using Cloudflare workers, and there's plenty of other different JavaScript or site-based sites that'll allow you to launch that kind of stuff, especially if you're dealing with devs. And so it was nice to see that he added that in there as well. And then some really good, cool, nerdy stuff, and just kind of go along. It's a nice, decent post. Let's see. This one is Izzy Smith, Moz blog post. I know, Moz blog. It's fanboys. This post actually is the one I was telling you about in regards to pulling out data in Search Console. I have shared, I don't even, Ms. Solis, I don't even know how to pronounce her first name, but she does have a Data Studio report. You can pull this out. And then the right tool. You can find a right access, like put your website in there and stuff. If you try to log in and then it says create account, and then you can actually put your website in there and get some stuff for free, versus having to go through their whole get a demo and then we'll customize the price for you. That's code for I want to see how much money you make, and then we'll charge you based on that kind of thing. Not a bad model, but anyway, what I like about this is kind of how you get the core updates. You can check that out. You can see this kind of data and look at this information and pull this information out of the API, versus actually trying to use the Search Console dashboard on the site itself, because it sucks as much as the sealers suck. And so But it's pretty cool. And then just going through these and looking at, maybe if you were a data studio person, you can actually go in there and kind of pull this information out and create these all on your own using a data studio or a platform, etc. So I would try that out. This is really cool. One thing to note is that the Google Search Console is busted right now. They announced it at 2 a.m. This morning that Google Search Console is busted, but people have been calling it out. It's been busted since the end of August 31st or September 1st, depending on your account. Your data hasn't been updated, particularly the performance stuff, etc. You need to take a look at that because it's not updated. So just be aware of it. If you got clients that watch it, I know I teach my clients to look at the performance, look at the impressions, look at the CTR rate and stuff like that as a guide to help build your SEO plan and why you keep on going. So. But again, this is a really cool one. I want to play around with that right. I'm not in the market for another SEO tool right now, but I want to play around with right and see if I can get some more data out of that. I kept this post just because if you're looking for some social media stuff and to boost your arguments as to why you want to do like add video to your SEO campaigns as an upsell, etc. This is a really cool post. And on top of that, I liked all the flashy crap that Google did with it. So you can see all the stats and stuff like that. In this section here, if you just keep going through, it's just like this perpetual changing of information. So plenty of stats, plenty of graphic you can do some snapshots with, plenty of stuff you can add into your sales process, etc. Just to kind of show off some information in regards to why you should be doing video, and why you should pay you as an agency, or your boss should pay you more to do some more video stuff and reach out to these markets. So really cool, really great post. I think I like it. All right, let's see. I'm gonna go questions here because you guys are crapping around. Phrase Is phrase worth it? Yeah, it was well worth it if you missed the deal. Sucks to be you. However, the $49 a month is still worth it, especially if you're doing a lot of content generation. If you're not writing, if you're not doing content generation, or if you're not actively analyzing content, then don't pay for a monthly content tool. But if you were smart enough to jump on that AppSumo deal, then you're made out like a bandit. Some new things that they're adding over at Phrase is a lot of FAQ stuff. I love their content briefs. And they're talking about putting GPT-3. If you don't know what that is, it's creating using AI to create articles and bringing that into play. It's on their work board, so check it out. Okay, and then let's see here. Emojis in the email subject line, do they affect open rates? So I think we've all heard this one, right? So if you put emojis, for a while there, Google was showing emojis in title tags, and then they're showing emojis in meta descriptions. And because they were doing it, being SEOs, we were like, oh, it should increase your click-through rate because you get to stand out more, right? And we're all looking for these little tiny hacks and whatevers. But they tested that in regards to their emails. And I take this data with a little bit of a grain of salt because it's a vault. You're signed up to this list, and they're emailing you over and over. It's already their own users versus, say, trying this out if you're selling. Like you do a list that you really want to sell a whole bunch of people to, right? That would be the I think you would actually see different results like that if you had, for example, if you're an internet marketer and you do a lot of affiliate stuff, then maybe this stuff helps it stand out because maybe they're used to deleting your emails because you're always sending the same things over and over again. But there's some interesting numbers in here in regards to this. One is CTR is actually higher. If you have an emoji in your title tag, they'll open your email and your CTR rate is actually higher. The click through of the link inside of your email is higher than it would be if you didn't. But if you have an emoji in your title tag, they're more likely to unsubscribe for you. To me, that's kind of a win-win. So if I see the emoji and you open it up, great, right? You read my email. Woohoo! But what do I really want you to do? I want you to go to my website, right? So I want you to click my link in my email to go to the website so I can sell you something. So if I CTR is higher, then why not that? On the flip side of that, if an emoji makes you leave my list because you don't like emojis and you find it unprofessional and you're more likely to unsubscribe, bye. Goodbye. You know why? Because I just cleaned my list. I removed a user on there that I was paying money for a service to be allowed to subscribe to you. You're never gonna buy to me because you don't relate to me because I'm using emojis, if that's your reason, or maybe I'm just emailing you too much. But either way, if you're not gonna buy from me, you're not gonna buy an affiliate offer, or you're not gonna buy a product, then why would I want you on my email list? So now I've cleaned my list essentially. So there are two ways to look at these numbers, and I think you should at least try them out and look at it and see. Use the list cleaning method, and then use the professionalism approach as well. So if you're an agency and you're emailing out to this list of people who signed up to your Tripwire offer, and you want to upgrade them into web design or search engine optimization, maybe you don't want to be using these emojis because you want to come across as professional and stuff, right? So think about it that way. Think about how these numbers relate to you and your business and what you're actually trying to do. And I think you can get takeaways on either end of that. Let's see. The best free way to automatically transcribe audio and video. This is awesome. If you've ever tried to pay for one of these websites or whatever, like a rev.com, and let's say I wanted to get SEO this week transcribed, it costs quite a bit of money because of how long it is, versus this way is free. So I'm going to try it out and see if we can start doing maybe some transcripts of the show, in particular from the end of the news to the end of the show, the part where I'm teaching things. That would be really cool, I would think, to kind of have that all written out there. So that'd be neat. And this is a free way to do it. So I would check it out. There's another offer out there right now. It used to be Content Samurai, I think is what they called it. Now they call it something else, but you can actually drop your video in there and it'll transcribe your video for you, and then put captions on your things and etc. I think that's kind of cool. I might be trying to implement some of that too. I signed up again like a sucker, but we'll see if I actually get some more use out of it than I did last time. Vietnamese, there you go. Thank you. I had easy video sales letters, and just for whatever reason, every time I open that thing, it's got to update, and then I got to play 20 questions with my computer because of licensing and all that other madness. So I tried Vietnamese out again. We'll see how it goes. Google wants some feedback. So Gary Illis is looking for site examples where the site.com search is not matching what you see inside of Search Console. He's got some qualifiers. One, you have to actually share your domain with anyone that follows Google. You got to share your domain with them and share it back on Twitter. So I personally, as I said in the comments here, that it's looking for he's looking, he obviously doesn't want the real answer because SEOs aren't going to out their websites to other SEOs, and that's who follows Gary Ellis. And two, if you do try to find examples to it, like he doesn't want low quality sites, and would define what low quality is. To me, Home Advisor and Yelp are low quality websites, but they're indexed everywhere, right? So if you dare and you want to go and out your site and prove or disprove that the site command is incorrect, then there's the way to go do it. You can go to the Twitter there. Ted Kubitis, he actually did. He's got SEO Tool Lab, and he showed where the tools they're off, etc. So I'd say, if you have a glaring example of it and you don't mind showing other people, then I would go do that. Maybe this leads to a fix, but I'm not holding my breath anytime soon. And then the final post is from Kevin Indig, is 3 practices your competitor SEO you should know. I like this. So if you ever been in network marketing, one of the things they teach you for online marketing of network marketing is to write articles or review articles using company name spam. So, and it's no different than company name review, company name bonus. It's just company name spam. It's just people are, or scam, is people are looking for, is this company a scam? And that works because network marketing, quote unquote, pyramid schemes is what they're referred to by most people when they hear a network marketing thing. The first place people look is scam because they don't want to get scammed because they heard network marketing is a nasty pyramid scheme kind of thing, right? So that generates interest, it generates keywords, etc. And this is kind of, in my opinion, just kind of along the same line. So there are some examples, some bigger ones like Zendesk Alternative, if let's see, Filmorama, and how these big sites use this. In this case, Filmorama is a video app, and they're competing with Adobe Premiere. So, and Adobe Premiere's documentation sucks, so they created, they created documentation to how to use Adobe Premiere. So that makes sense. So they're leveraging the lacking parts of their product to get more attention to their of the competitor's product to get more attention to theirs. So it's kind of smart. ConvertKit did it, and they did it with Mailchimp, and then Wistia. Wistia, they're playing off of it too, and so there's plenty of opportunities to do that, and you can pretty much do that with any market, right? If you're a plumber, like you're a plumber and you have competition, and you know some things about the competition you've heard when you're going on calls and stuff. You can turn that into a blog post, and this is why we're better than them, kind of thing. Roofers, lawyers, everyone can pretty much do this and pull this off and be able to get some more information or more rankings. So, one really cool, like if I wanted to do, I don't know, what's a good example? I'm a plumber A and plumber B, and I'm plumber A, and I want to do this comparison thing. What I could do is rank my comparison article for plumber B's business name. So whenever you search for plumber B, you get to see my article and why, versus. So maybe you can get some of the customers off of that, off of their brand recognition and stuff. So again, you could do that in pretty much everything. Why is the iPad better than the Kindle? Why is the iPad better than the Surface? And you can kind of do those kind of things for affiliate marketing too. So think about it that way. Check out this post, and I think you get some more, whole bunch out of it. All right, that's it for the stories. 22 minutes flew right through. I wanted to slow down because I think I talk too fast sometimes. Let's see. Questions. Skipping Vinay's question. All right. So looks like the only question left is Vinay's question. Sweet. I didn't really have a topic to teach on today, so I guess we'll just go with Vinay's and looking at Phrase.io. And let me open it up first. Let's see. How do you implement phrase into your SEO per content creation? So there's a lot of things you can do. Someone give me a keyword. I don't care. A random keyword is fine. And we're going to create a new document. TVs. that goes. Let's do, how about big screen TVs or large screen TVs? Large screen HD TV. Alrighty. Okay, so that's in there. Let me share the screen. So large screen HD TV. Never been in this niche. Don't even know anything about it. But I need to get some content done for it because I'm going to write it out. So come in here, you drop it in the phrase, and you do the create document. And the next thing that I would do is take this same exact keyword and go over to Page Optimizer Pro and drop that in there and get and create an outline. So let's see. I don't think I haven't used this for a while. So let me. Let's make a new project. I hate this because you're doing. Let me. There's a domain. All right, so new page. Gotta go through the same setup. I'm gonna do LCD screens, English, current location. I don't want to do that. I want to do, I rarely ever use a Chrome thing. I don't at this point. I don't want to use the NLP. I don't care about eat. Remember, and that's fine. It's gonna go through and get my competitors for me for this keyword. I'll let it do it because I'm lazy. Checking out the competition. You see phrases over here. It's done all its work. So we'll get back here in a second. Take 3 minutes. Keep in mind, this will be a little bit faster if you're using Core Lite, but I know there are more users for Page Optimizer Pro than there are Core Lite. But it's faster in Core Lite, in my opinion. You get some more data and information. So kind of transitioning over to that from Pop. The difference for me is that I can teach someone how to use Page Optimizer Pro a lot faster in Correlate because there's just so much more information. You don't want to compare it against a page, so I've not built this page yet. That's fine, and then click next. Variants are cool. We'll just trust what it gives us. LSI is cool. We'll just trust what it gives us. Let me see. I probably don't need that. NanoCell. That's some other stuff that's in there. And Amazon, CES. I guess we can leave that. All right, and that's going to run. It's 3 minutes. So we'll let that run. Next thing you want to do is come over here and you get all this information. There's topics, summaries, and the outline of the page. This is really kind of driven off of what's going on with the H tags sometimes. Just depends on how it reads the site. And when you think of topics here, think of categories, even in this relation, but also there's a lot of entity stuff in here in this topic stuff. So look at it, think of it from is it a category or is it an entity? Like Dolby, WebOS, Atmos, Ultra, those might be referring to entities. And you can see the same when you come over here. Most of this stuff is going to be entities in a way that it looks at it. Ultra, in this case, Ultra, you might have to check it out. Is it Ultra Affordable, Ultra HD, Ultra HD? That's a version of HD, right? So you can turn that into HD or just an Ultra. And then you have the questions. If you're doing a Q&A stuff like we talked about, you can actually come in here and pick like 10 of these and do questions and answers and rewrite them if you wanted to. But we're still talking about building something for writers, right? Like, what do we want to do? So we're going to get off of here and Page Optimizer Pro. Still got some time. And we're just going to push paste brief. Get it? Let's do it. All right. So here's all your information, your average word count, the average links, the average sections. So what do my writers don't need to know this. And they don't need to know this. And they don't need to know this. They need to know my word count. Here's some sources of information where you can find it and put it all together. Here's some of the topics I want you to mention. Here's some questions that we can do. And here's the different sections that you can do it. So when you're talking about sections, you're talking about your H tags, right? So if I do the best, what the hell's our large screen HD TV, you can do a H tag on large screen television technology, big screen TVs, projector screens versus, and then the requirements for a home theater system. So there's 4 sections right off the bat. Then you got some statistics and some other links to help them out and do all their research. So right now I've given you all the research that I want. I want 1,435 words. Here's all the research. Here's all the topics. And then I want you to use this in your writing. So I always download the report. I hate the in the SAS version. So download the report, open up Excel with it. And we look in here. There's some more content stuff, right? It says content brief, but really it's LSI stuff, and add these words to your stuff. And then here we go. This is what I'm looking for. H1s, H2s, H3s. Do not use any exact words. I need 32 variations in my H2s, 3 variations in my H1s, and 3 in here. So 32 is a lot. 32 is a lot, right? So let's go over here. Variations. These are the famous ones. And then there's a focus. And I always go with max. So we got 7 variations in H1s, 50 variations in H2s, and 11 variations in H3s. How's that going to help my writer? It really is not. So I need to give my writer some H1s, H1 guidance, main keyword, and H1 long title with topics mentioned. Okay. H2s, 4 sections based on sections list. Long titles. H3s, 3 subsections. Jesus. In each section. And then H4 is exact. Mention exact target word. And you can do it that way, or you can literally go and build the outline for them. So H1 is going to be, you pick the title and write it all out. H2s, you'd pick all 4 of the sections, write them all out in the outline format. H3s, you do the same thing. And then H4s, you would write out what your H4 is at. So there's two ways to skin this content brief cat, right? In this case, you got a smart writer. You've worked with him for a long time. He knows what you're looking for, kind of SEO wise. So you plug this into him and let it go. Next thing you want to do is actually go back into your list here and look for variations in LSI. So these are the variations. You want to add these here. Again, this works with writers that you know and you're that know you, right? Here's the LSI. You want all these words in there. And then you want to get the entities. And I hadn't turned the entities on. But I could get that if I was using, if I turn it on, I could do it, or I could use whatchamacallit. And then you have this recommendations here if you want to follow that 1, 2, and 3. Right here. And this is your page structure. And I drop that right here. Okay. So in this case, it's 1,400 words, and there's no way I'm going to put 18 H2s in here. Just not going to happen. There's no way I'm going to do 6 H3s, but I can get pretty close with that and then actually be able to build some more stuff with it. I think the only reason that like this number is this so high is because if I do a search for large screen HDTVs, what is it? It's a bunch of lists, right? So let's go back to page 1. Best Buy is a list. That's a list. That's a list of televisions. And my guess is, I'm not going to go click through all of those, but the H2s are all the titles of the products. And I'm not going to make a huge big list. I'm just going to do like 3 or 4. So, okay. So now I have phrase, and now my content brief is ready. It's all set. It's all good to go. The writer brings that back to me, and then what I do from there is come over here to the topics, and then I can look and make sure that I've hit all the topics as much as I want to and build this out. If you're using Surfer content editor or cognitive SEO, I'm leaning more towards cognitive these days. The content editor kind of does much of the same thing, but what I found is if I can nail everything in here, I'm going to get a 90 in cognitive, and I may not need any higher than that. And cognitive might just pick up a couple words that I missed, and you can kind of go for like a 92, 95, and you'd be all set. You beat a 90, and you're all right. If you're looking at grade wise, and that's it. You can actually save this. You can import it. I believe there was an option here before. I'll have to look at it where you can actually just give your writer access to this thing, and they come in here and fill out all the stuff for you and make the whatchamacallit. There you go. Yeah, see, so that you can put in a word, you can share the link and pull it out that way. This is really cool. So you get this link and they can read it over, and they see all this stuff that you're doing, right? So that's kind of cool. The other thing, if you are a shameless link builder, HTML and text file, create this whole page and use this page to link to your page that you finally built for large screen TVs with a modifier so that it's not the exact match. If you don't want to, you can probably leave it, just put like the best large screen TV in there or whatever, right? And link to that. And you have a essentially a poor man's relevance kind of thing going on here for your link building too. If you're, a shameless link builder, maybe I'll teach some more about that some other time. All right. Any questions on that? I know I shot through that kind of quick, but kind of how I am. Let's see. Bit off prac. Do you ever Reddit for paid traffic? I have not, Brittany. I have not used Reddit for paid traffic. I actually want to get some into doing that to promote the agency and to promote the show. I'm actually thinking about starting a new show, but I don't know if I want to take all that on. If I do take on a new show, then I'll have to leave SEO Fight Club. And I like SEO Fight Club. So I'm thinking, using Reddit for client stuff, client lead generation. We'll see how that goes. No more questions? We all done? Short show. Cool. All right. Thank you all for watching. This has been SEO This Week, episode 175. I appreciate y'all. If you would, hit the thumbs up, thumbs down, subscribe. Engagement's engagement, everybody. And share with your friends. We're trying to get some more people on here and have some more fun. So thank you very much. And we'll see you.